Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Pastrami Nation podcast. I'm Kevin, and joining me today is my co-host Christian. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. Getting ready to go camping in a couple days, but that's a whole other situation. Joining us today, we have a very, very special guest. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for joining the show. We have a writer, a producer, a director, and an actor. He's here to talk about his show Red Sands, which is streaming now on a few streaming services. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Michael Barrett. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, doing fine, thank you. Barrett, but yes, thank you.
Barrett, sorry. I knew I had it right before I introduced you, and I had to go ahead and mess it up. So thank you for joining us. I'm very, I got it. Like I said, before we started, I had a chance to watch some of the show. Good time, really fun show. So can you first tell us a little bit about Red Sands? What's it about? And I'm very curious. So I know you guys started out as a short film, and then you guys decided to expand it to a television series or a television mini series.
Yes.
Can you tell us about how the basic idea came about and that whole process of deciding to turn it into a TV show?
Sure thing. Well, I was approached by Josh Ampuero. He cast me and TJ to do a short called No Trespassing. And that was pretty much it. The premise was, I'm like the derelict brother that shows up, I need a place to stay. These people are after me. I borrowed money from the wrong people. They're wanting it back, all that. So then, the shootout ensues, and the brothers turned out to be successful at the end of that, and that's what's supposed to be it. Now, when we're driving to this location, which was out way out in Lucerne Valley, in the middle of the desert. I mean, we're talking. So there's houses out there, right? But they're very few and far between. Desert all around. And on our way out to the film shoot we have, and that the house itself is a character amongst it, onto itself. If you guys have seen the show,
Absolutely,
yeah. So driving out to that location, we're seeing pot farm, but just of course illegals, just all over because they're right in the middle of nowhere. So it's like wow. But of course, the house we shot at, that owner of that house is completely against that sort of behavior. In life, you should say, and vehemently against it. So anyway, but we're still noticing this, and we just had so much fun filming for a day. We shot the majority of that first part of No Trespassing in one day. And TJ and Josh and I, we were just like, in between takes and doing that, like, this is just so much fun, And TJ and I just really had a good back and forth chemistry that we couldn't really deny. So, like TJ is the one that said, like, we should make a sequel to this. And I'm like, I'm with it. And he like looking all around, all these farm drivers. He said, well, wait a minute. What if my character was, an aggregator of marijuana and sold it, because he's retired now from the Air Force and all that. And that's something that he does to keep himself busy, make extra money and all that, So then I was like, okay, well, we're going to need a new villain. So I said, let me put this to script. Let me script the sequel and see what you guys think, and we'll decide if we go forward from there. So I wrote the sequels, which ended up being The Rival and Blood Moon, which are the episodes that follow. Okay, and created this new villain, made it so that he's got much more of an army out there. So we have the stakes against, the brothers and all that. And I turned in the script to Josh and TJ, and they were over the moon about it. So I was honored at that. And Josh had read some of my writing before, plays that I'd written, screenplay I was working on. So he knew what kind of a writer I was. So he entrusted me with that, and I was honored by that. So once that came about, Josh came on with the script I wrote, co-wrote it enough to get a co-writing credit on that. And then I basically became the lead writer amongst for all the episodes that followed. And then I still got some, I guess you could call it ghostwriting that went on with some of the episodes that followed. I'd always want to give screen credit to those that gave the help, but they always said, like, no, I didn't help enough with it. Like, it's really your baby. So that's what it is. So, I mean, just so you guys know, is that like all the episodes that follow, yes, I did get some help with those scripts that followed. And then I took on directing duties for the rest of the episodes that followed as well.
Very cool. So did you guys shoot in the same area of the desert, Lucerne Valley, you said? Correct?
Absolutely. Yes. What
were the shoots like? I'm curious, in the middle of the desert, obviously there's things around and stuff like that, but when did you guys shoot it? Was it like during the fall, during the winter, during the?
Oh, good question. Yeah, we shot the original episode in September of well, gosh, what do I want to say? September of 21, I think is what it was.
Okay.
And yeah, and then that was when we decided, like, hey, we're gonna write this out. We got to develop this thing out. So we worked steadily on these. I worked steadily on these scripts. Josh worked on rewriting as much as he could and everything. And TJ too was, intricate in giving help where he thought the script should go, story, all that stuff. And I'd let them know characters I was planning to bring about, and they'd give their opinions on that. I'd take that in, and we all worked together pretty well as a team, getting the scripts together until we started shooting regularly in January of 2022. And so that we took all those months to do that. And then at that point in time, there were a couple of reshoots needed for that no trespassing thing. We knocked those out along with other new shoots we had for the other episodes, and it all came together.
No,
Michael, you wear a lot of crowns. There's a lot of you got a lot of tools on your belt. Of all of those things, what was it that kind of got you started in the industry? Was it the writing? Was it the acting? Like, what was that got you?
Yes.
Hooked?
Yes, all of it.
All of it.
All of it. The best word I can say for all that is simply creating.
Storytelling, creating.
Yeah, absolutely. Creating. Because every facet of what I do, acting, writing, directing, editing, it's all creating. Every single bit of it, especially editing, the way I look at it. Because when I'm editing a story together, it's like really you write the thing, you shoot it, and then once you're in post with it with an edit, you are literally putting that story together, and that is such a great feeling. I just had to talk about somebody that said, "Oh, I hate editing." Somebody's that's industry friend of mine said. I said, "You know what? I get it. Because editing too could be so monotonous, big time. But when a scene comes together right, and you're doing that from just the different takes and all that, is such a feeling."
Yeah, the editing can make or break a movie, honestly. And we know there's like countless examples of this throughout Hollywood history. What would you, if you could choose your legacy to leave, like if of one of those things, what do you want to be remembered by? I know, like you just explained all of that, and I'm still forcing you to pick one thing.
Yeah. I appreciate your determination with that. I mean, it's the longest thing I've been doing is acting. I'd say so. As an actor, sure. But then I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me to pick. It really is, because as a writer too, I've been told that some people feel I'm a better actor than a writer. Other people say I'm a better writer than an actor. And you know what? I love that. Because it means it's people have different opinions about what I can do, and I'm all for that. Yeah, as a director, I do my best as well, and work with. I like to think that I work with actors well, because I'm an actor myself, know how to speak their language, and yeah, it's a hard. I would say creator.
That's what
I get. That is a title. That is a title. Created by is on there. Is on me. I'm on there for that too. So that is a title. I suppose you could say. Yeah. It's so hard to pick which one I like that. I can tell you, producing, I do not like at all. I absolutely abhor producing. The stress level with that is just insane. Yeah, that's one thing I will say.
Do you I know it's like you're kind of in the midst of all of this and your work. Do you have like other projects that are like not Red Sands related that you are just dying to get to, like once this is all kind of said and done, or are you just full on Red Sands mode right now?
Oh, well, you know what? I finished Red Sands, the post for it myself over a year ago. So there was other work needed to be done with it, for CGI, further post-production work, even after my edit with it was done. Because what I would do was I'd put like the story edit together, that kind of thing. Loving doing that. And then I would pass that off to Josh, who was in charge of all the visual effects and all that stuff too. And he had to take his time getting those right. And I respected that and gave him the time he needed to get it done right. And then we had one cut done. And then I was ready to submit, and there was still something about it that wasn't right. I still wanted Josh to do some more fix-ups to make it absolutely perfect for Red Sands. So he took more time to do that because he's got other projects he was working on as well. So I had to be patient while he worked on those projects and while he was still working on this one, until finally we got the thing ready to go later last year. And then we did the big submission to Film Hub, and now it's on. It's going to be, it's streaming internationally. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on Tubi. It's coming to other markets as well. It just hasn't been released yet by other streamers. But total, I can't tell you how many streamers have picked it up, because some of them are channels that are they're distributors themselves that take care of multiple streaming channels. So the answer of how many streaming services Red Sands will end up being on, I'll just say thankfully, I don't really have an answer for that. But I do know that they're on the two majors of Tubi and Amazon Prime, and that is a true honor. I love that. For sure. Now, you're talking about other projects that I've got. I am currently working on a play in Victorville here, Plaza Suite, because I run, my company started with Stagecrafters Productions, and we've been doing plays for the last 6 years. Christmas Story, one of them, which was a big hit for us. And so we started with that. And then when COVID hit, we shut down. So then I developed Film Crafters, because I've always wanted to have my own film company doing full-length projects. So that's when that started. And with Film Crafters, I didn't really know what I was going to go with that, but lo and behold, Josh gave me that call. And then, Film Crafters ended up picking it up as a series, while still co-producing with Josh's company, Turbulent Studios. And that's how we came about and are working together with it. And that's all it is. But yeah, I'm working on a play called Plaza Suite right now. It's in the middle of the run, closes this Sunday. And then I'm also working on a romantic comedy right now called Love or Best Offer. It's kind of not really supposed to announce that too much right now, but it just depends on who's watching the interview. It's not in print yet, so I don't think I'm going against my what I'm supposed to say or not say, but that's based on a play that I was in last summer. And the playwright who's got it published professionally in Samuel French, and I'm published with him. I approached him to make it as a film, and he jumped right on and wrote additional scenes. And the movie of that play is going to be unlike anything that's being shown live on stage. But the play itself is brilliant. So to be able to expand on that is an honor too. So that I'm working on right now. That's got to wrap up, and then I'll be working on Red Sands too, following that.
That's exciting. That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool. Kind of want to talk about just TJ real quick a little bit, because TJ, I was reading, he's a veteran, right? Correct?
Yes, correct.
United States Air Force. I'm curious, how much did he bring to the project? It is very fight heavy, very action heavy, right? So someone who's actually been there and has seen different tours and stuff. What kind of stuff did he bring to the table when you guys were shooting this thing, or in the writing process, or whatever point in the process where he kind of chimed in and said, this is how it's done, this is how it's supposed to be?
He did quite a lot. I mean, for creatively, in terms of the credit for Creative Eye, he's one of the creators with us. And he gave the major thing of, I'm the guy that's making the weed and all that stuff too. And then when there were new characters coming along and that stuff too, he sort of gave in a little bit of tidbits of here and there. Well, maybe the character can do this. Maybe we can do it. So he still added and gave some good, creative passion in there with helping crafting the stories themselves, coming along with it. And then on set, he was our stunt coordinator. So he was huge. And all those fights you see, that's all TJ really staging that and making that happen. So he helped bring in other stunt actors that he knew, because he was living in Vegas when we were shooting in Victorville here, and he knew some stuntmen that could come in and take a fall and take a hit and do all this. So that was a huge help, getting his stunt coordinating in there, and the men he brought in to essentially be our victims. So
that's amazing. And speaking of stunts, I know the Oscars were just talking about actually including a stunt category in the program. Like awards for stunts, and I definitely think it deserves it. So shout out to TJ and the stunt guys who are out there, like they're doing these hard, really hard action sequences,
Yes.
and it cannot be easy. And I could only imagine kind of being on a little bit more of a limited type budget, it might be
Yes.
a little bit more difficult than like if you had big, kind
Okay.
of bigger studio stunts and stuff like that. Was that at all difficult just with kind of, because you got, like I said, you guys are working with a little bit limited budget, things like that. Was that something that you guys found to be a little bit more difficult, or was it just kind of, you guys just kind of worked with what you got and just kind of,
You know what? I mean, it honestly wasn't that difficult really at all. We just did it. And honestly too, with the stunts, we would do it in limited takes, very limited takes. Shooting Clint Eastwood style, if you will. You know what I mean? Who's known to do one take and let's go. That's it. I'll at least try to do a safety. But when it comes to stunts, it was more a matter of, okay, let's see playback. That's good. Let's move. Let's go. Like when I had to dive off that rock midair and shoot. I was like, that's a one take deal. Let me see the playback. Let's see.
That must have been fun though, right? I mean, you gotta, like, everyone wants to be an action hero, right? Everyone wants to give this stuff a shot. I only dream of being able to do that one day, like on a movie set, right? Like that's really cool. What did that feel like to be able to do that stuff? Like, I mean, I'm sure you're an action action fan. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I didn't write that part of that sequence. That was actually a Josh ghostwriting spot. I'm going to give him up on that. He even put that in there. Goes, and now Eddie dives off a rock, dives off a big boulder, and shoots midair and lands. I'm like, you gonna be okay with that? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I get on set. I'm nervous as ever. I'm like, how am I gonna do this? I'm like, okay, well, what would Eddie do? Like this is what he's gonna do. So all I did was I just simply went for it. I didn't know how it was going to land in any way. Never rehearsed it, nothing. I just did it, called action, and dove off the rock, and then suddenly my feet just came below me and caught me. So I just run. I do a thing. My feet just suddenly came down, catch my fall. I was like, okay, and then I landed like what happens in the show. What happened?
Oh, Michael, I think you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, your screen's frozen and you sound like a robot.
Oh no!
It's like sounding very synthesized and.
Oh no!
Okay, you sound okay, but your visuals are still. That's a little bit. There you go.
Slowly getting back to us.
There we go. We're good now. I think.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, but no, doing the stunt was fun. I just went for it.
It sounds like such a blast. It's like every boy's dream.
Okay. Do you have any like
like, TJ told me too. I'm sorry. TJ, he said, just don't think about it. Just do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I did, and I was fine. Yeah.
That's awesome. Speaking of that kind of stuff, what were kind of some of your action influences for this show? I mean, when you were writing it, is there anything that kind of popped in your head that you were like, obviously, just something that really kind of inspired you to write something like this?
Oh, wow. Well, for the action, of course, I'm always a huge Die Hard and Lethal Weapon fan.
You got Die Hard, absolutely.
Big time. So I mean, yeah, that's always an influence. But as a writer too, I had never written action scenes before. So this is a first, and that was fun. And really what I wanted as a writer is to try to make each one of them different in their own way. Every action sequence that's in the series, I wanted to have its own sort of different tension and just different vibe to it altogether,
Right.
Whether it's personal or it's more, or it's more violent or more intense from the bad guys, that kind of stuff. I was really trying to sort of up the ante with every action sequence that it comes in the series more and more in a different way. That was my goal.
Very cool. Yeah, you can totally tell too. Like each action scene, nothing seems repetitive. Like everything feels unique and different to the moment or whatever's going on. Which I thought was really, really cool. Like I said, I watched the first couple episodes and I really like how the first one is very, very action heavy, very kind of really sets up the story phenomenally well. The second one is a little bit more character driven, right? So you have stuff with Myra, things like that.
Right.
When it comes to like pacing something like this, so you guys have this is a 4-episode series, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, 4 episodes. When you're pacing the episodes out, like what are the most important things that you're trying to, obviously you want to establish the story, and then you want to establish these great character arcs for everybody. Was that difficult in the did that come in the editing process? Obviously, you guys know episode from to episode, but is there a part of editing in that where you guys have to figure out like, hey, this episode should be about this, and the second episode we should do this, and if it's only 4 episodes, how do you guys figure out what goes where and how to properly pace the thing without giving away too much at the very start? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, a good question. Yeah, that's all it is. It's all when it comes down to story. That's what it is. Just simply telling the story. And yes, with each chapter, to dive deeper into the personalities of these characters and get to know them more and more and reveal more and more as the episodes go. I mean, I really think that, I mean, you said episode 2 is character. If you haven't seen episode 3,
I haven't gotten there yet, but
I mean, I'll put it out there. I've told several people it's personally my favorite episode. It really is. Ironically, it's the one with the least amount of action in it. There's a little bit in there still, but it's the most character driven, episode of the entire series, and I love where I was able to write these characters to go, and just above all, the actors that played these characters were just phenomenal to me. Their performances in them were just incredible. Jocelyn and Anthony and Carlos and TJ, and I mean, what's fun too is something I didn't mention is that a good amount of actors in this show I graduated from college with over 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, who plays the actress playing Myra, Tiffany? Yeah, I graduated Cal State Fullerton with her over 20 years ago.
She's great. I love her. Yeah,
she's fantastic. And Carlos as well, Jocelyn as well, Anthony as well. All of them I graduated. You haven't seen Anthony yet because he's in episode 3. But yes, and it was such an honor to bring them back after 20 years and say, let's play. Let's do something. And I knew their talent. I knew they would bring it, and I'm honored by what they did for sure.
It's so awesome that you do this. Being such a, I mean, wearing so many hats on this project. This is your baby. You're able to kind of build this community, bring people together. That have been a part of your life for so long. That's really cool. For those of us listening, that also means that you've been part of each part of production. So you're a huge part of pre-production. You're a huge part of production, and then the never-ending post-production. Of those, what was the most time consuming, and what was the most frustrating?
Good question. I would have to say between writing and rewriting and editing. One of those two. Now, probably the writing. I would say I spent most effort on writing. The editing, I did the story edit. I didn't do any of the visual effect edit.
Right.
So Josh had all the, with editing. Because I put the scene together, and with that too, though, that's a big responsibility of putting a scene together because you do control the pace of the scene.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's all in post-production. So I would say too, the writing was the most tedious and long-standing to get done for sure, especially too because Josh didn't just want anything out there. TJ for that matter too, but he didn't want to just put anything out there. He wanted everything to be rewritten, looked at again, and made that. And Good. Then we started production, and then when we started production, the scripts were still kind of being rewritten a little bit, and I got Josh a little bit stressed. But I was like, we got the story down, and some rewriting still happening, and we're going to be okay. And so it came through, and it is what it is now, and I'm happy with it.
I think that's a really not that it's a crazy thing to do. I think a lot of productions have done that. I know famously, Breaking Bad, Jesse Pinkman was supposed to die in the first season.
Right.
I think not having a solid script kind of leaves things to happen naturally, and maybe the story is allowed to naturally progress. So that's cool.
Right. Yeah. And it's strange you say that because one of my main characters in it as a villain was supposed to die at the first episode. And TJ and Josh both said, no. You wrote a good character here. You wrote a very good character here. He's got to stick around at least till the end. And I'm not going to tell you if he ever gets dispatched or not. But, but it was because of Josh and TJ saying, no, keep him in there. Keep him in there. I'm like, okay. Won't kill him. Yeah. Have him drive off.
One of Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman's biggest regrets is killing Shredder in the first issue of the Ninja Turtles. Yes. So they had to like write around and bring him back from the dead.
Yeah.
Due to his popularity.
Right. So really see, like as I said too, though, is we have a villain that starts off in the very beginning. It was already written. He's going to get killed right off. I was like, nah, that's just a perfect ending for that arc of the story. Let's bring a new villain in and keep him in there for the rest of the time. So we kept certain elements there and other ones we changed and, have it going as it is.
That's fun. I love how like you're so open to, everybody's ideas and like, everybody can come with it. And you know what I mean? It's a really collaborative effort. I think, bringing something like this to life, it's gotta be, it's so much to bear for one person. So that's really cool. And that's also awesome to have so many creative people working with you. That you can just like blindly rely on and that you'll have a good product.
Absolutely.
So and it shows, man. It shows. You got fans here in the chat too. Jeanette says you're a brilliant actor and writer. I don't know if you're seeing the chat.
Oh no, I don't see that. Where's that at?
If you hit comments on the side over there.
Yeah, McCurdy fan account only. Love Red Sands. Truly an amazing series. You're a brilliant actor and writer.
Oh wow, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, we got Stefan Tejas. What's up, Stefan?
Oh yeah, Steven. Hey,
Steven.
And then we have Arturo joining us. Arturo's one of our buddies here, one of our regular viewers and listeners. How's it going, Arturo? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. So I'm a big fan of theme songs. I'm a big fan of like television shows that have the perfect theme song and it's able just to pull you into this world and turn it. One of my favorite theme songs of all time, X-Files. That's just the way it is. Like, in my opinion, one of the GOATs. How did you guys come up with this? I love this theme song, by the way. It's very Westerny, but also very just kind of fun and really tells you what kind of show you are in for. And it fits it perfectly, fits the vibe, fits the mood. Where did you come up? How did you guys find that theme song and who composed it and how did that process work?
Okay. Well, our composer was Daniel, who was out in Canada. So we did composing sessions by Zoom with him. And I told him, okay, I'm just gonna let it out there. One of my favorite movies growing up, the Western. I mean, take a guess what movie that's taking. It doesn't rip it off in any way because it's why Daniel was brilliant to make it his own thing, but still give it that flavor. If you could think of the Western, way back,
Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Yes, it was.
What it reminded me of, but like it didn't sound like a ripoff at all. It just had the same vibe, and I love that.
Exactly. So yes, and we were out to make more like like a neo Western.
You know what? The show it really The Way of the Gun is one of my favorite movies of all time. Christopher McQuarrie. Have you? Yeah, it's
that was Benicio del Toro, right? And
Ryan Phillip.
Ryan Phillip. Yeah.
Have that same kind of vibe, that neo noir kind of Western vibe, and I love that.
Awesome, thank you. I had a great time doing that score, and I worked with the composer Daniel with this very intricately, and he took my notes and just created just an amazing score, just amazing.
It hits, and when it hits, it's like it's these really beautiful scenes between characters, or even like very thoughtful scenes with like TJ and he's trying to figure things out, things like that. Like the music starts playing and you're like, okay, like you're in the zone, you're there. And I think that's an incredible thing to nail, and you guys did it really well here. So
thank you
absolutely.
Yes, absolutely pleased with the score. Absolutely. Daniel just overdid himself.
And it's fantastic. I already have it stuck in my head. I watched. It's just one of those things that's just gonna stay there, just kind of like lingers in like a good way, right? Like it just is really good and it sticks with you, which is fantastic.
All right, thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. So you did say there's 4 episodes of this the part one, the first season, and you said you're working on part two. How far are you on the process of scripts? Do you know, like, you have any idea as far as how many episodes it's going to be, or when it's going to start filming, anything like that?
Yes, I'm planning to start filming the sequel next summer. The first episode and the first, like, it's chaptered, like usually
Yeah.
kind of like 3
Yeah.
chapters sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I have the first episode of the sequel written with their 3 chapters. Josh, I've already sent the scripts to, because for him to look at and give his notes on. He did. I've already put those notes in there. So for all practical purposes, I think the first 3 chapters, first episode of the sequel is ready to go and ready to
Cool.
shoot.
Okay.
So there's that, and then I'm planning to hopefully give it make it a 3 episode season or a 4, depending on how storytelling, how it all comes out in that regard. But right now I kind of have it planned as a 3 episode
Cool.
season. So yes, and then I'm also thinking about possibly a prequel series following Red Sands 2. Because I want to take Red Sands 2 a different direction entirely. I want to. It's called Vengeance, the sequel, and that's what it's about. It's going to be less about the marijuana trade and all that stuff too, because I think that's been explored enough in this season. I want to keep I want to keep moving forward and going different story directions rather than just stay in this one pit with the same problems and the same you know what I mean. I want to change it up and make it more intense and make it more going different directions. So that's what I'm planning with that. That's already off to that start.
That's really smart too. Like, give it some like evolution, some growth. It's not constantly like, what's the problem of the season?
Right?
Like, doesn't get too formulaic. That's perfect.
Yeah, I mean the sequel is going to deal with all the ramifications of the first season. That's what I want to do because it's more intense. So that's where I want to go. I want to just keep on building the intensity of this story until a huge climax, which I'm already thinking about and knowing how I want to do with it. And I think that's going to be great.
So, it's good to see, and I'm glad to hear creators having that kind of courage. Because historically with especially with the, series that's not a normal thing. I think in the last 10 years with like Breaking Bad and again I bring them up in Game of Thrones and Sopranos, we don't always have to reset to like the status quo at the end of every season, which is really nice. But I think with the onslaught of all of those shows and I don't know, I just like I stopped watching shows, not to like turn this into a like let me talk bad about other shows, but like I fell off like on Walking Dead like by season 3. I was like I was like done. I don't know, it just became like the same thing over and over again. It's just like, where are we gonna hide now? Who's the group of people that we're gonna encounter? It's just like okay. So it's nice to see what instead of just like this season's story and this season's story, it's nice to see like what you guys are doing, a huge evolution, like a big giant story. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, I'm not gonna give you any spoilers, but like even writing in the first episode, and getting it in there with that is I want to bring the audience back to what they know, back to what they're comfortable with, back to what they're used to, just for to start it out that way, but then tides shift and then things start getting way more intense to the point where it's like, wow, so I want to make the audience go like, ooh, that just happened, so just do it that way. So before the first episode is done, you're gonna know the show's taken a different direction. It's taken a whole so that's what I want. I want to expand the story, sort of
especially when you call it something like Vengeance. Like now I'm just like a million things running through my head, like what is happening, what's going to happen. I'm partly worried, but also very excited at the same time too.
And at the end of the season, because I know you haven't finished it yet, just pay attention to all the different little tidbits that are being brought in near the end of episode 4, because they're all brought in there where it's going to go into the second season, and it's going to happen that way. And that's when things start getting out of control. So it's I think going to be exciting to shoot and bring forward.
That's exciting, man. That's exciting. We're all very excited here at Pastrami Nation. Just real quick, if you guys have it, we have a couple reviews out for the first couple episodes on pastramination.com. Go check those out. And you so the show's streaming on a few different streaming services. You had said,
Yes.
I know I watched them on Tubi myself,
Sure.
but they're also on what Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
And then Woku.tv, it's on there. But I've seen that's also strangely, it's commercial free, it's completely free to watch. How they get their money for streaming anything on there is beyond me. I don't know.
Yeah.
They pay me something when they do, you know, that's all I know. But yeah, I don't know how their income comes in. But also I've seen not very easy to get on your TV, Woku.tv. Maybe at least not yet. I could see that you could go on your computer right now and go there, and there it is. And then you can watch numerous projects on there, Q and Red Sands. And yeah, like I said, it's on there, commercial free and free. So yeah.
Very cool, very cool. And Nolan, our editor, had mentioned something that you possibly have a clip you can show us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
okay, let's see. Let's see. How do I share on here?
Kevin, I think you need to enable him to share. Or
Yeah,
multiple people to share first.
quick here. Let me see if I can figure this out. I'm like an old man trying to figure out technology, you know. No, let's see. Yeah. Automatically share. I know we did it. We did it not long ago. I thought I had it. Yeah. Huh. Interesting here.
While we're waiting for this too, Steven, who's joining us, watching and everything like that. I can't say enough about how the talent this man has. For direct, he's one of my director of photography. So
very cool.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. If you like how this thing looks, Steven was a huge part of that. Especially like I said in episode 3, he was behind the camera on majority of episode 3, which is still my favorite episode.
I'm always fascinated by night scenes, like scenes that take place at night, specifically with the lighting and how you shoot it. And it always feels like I've never been on a film set, so I have no idea. But like I can imagine night scenes are probably a little bit more. I mean, it's all with the lighting and the cinematographer and all that stuff. Yeah, I know that. It's just fascinating to me. Yeah, great job, man. Great job.
Yeah. And I had other cinematographers come in too, and Steven worked on a good amount of this footage.
That's awesome. Let's see here.
Hey, I don't know how I can. I'm used to this. Is a nice, platform. I'm used to Zoom, but this works okay.
Yeah. This would be really. So on the bottom there, does it say anything on your end as far as presents or anything like that?
See settings.
And next to settings, it should say present. If that has a button for you, like a little TV with.
Yes. Oh yay. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, that should show you. That should do it.
Okay. It's a little different than like I said. Oh, it's not showing me my exact file. Oh
gotcha.
Yeah, because it's on my desktop. I had it on my desktop ready to go. Wait. Let's see.
I think it'll allow you to choose what you want to share. So if you want to share just a certain window or the entire screen.
I'm still figuring out this platform too. It's a cool platform though. And Steven, if you're ever interested in coming on talking about cinematography and camera stuff, we'd love to have you.
Yes, he's got a number of projects. I'm sure he can talk to you about.
Definitely, I'd love to pick your brain, man. But,
yeah, for sure. I'm not finding how to get it to share here. No, don't know.
So under present, it should say share screen, and then hit share screen. Then you can go to entire screen, click on entire screen, and then hit share, or you can go to your Chrome tab and then
entire screen. Where's that at?
On the top right of like that little box that pops up. So hit present and then hit share screen and then hit share screen again. And then it'll pop up a window, and then on the right you can hit entire screen. And then click on the actual little entire screen where it says that, and then hit share.
Okay. Might have gone to a wrong screen here. Hold on.
Yeah, they're all a little different.
Yeah, they're all a little different. They're all a little.
Okay. Am I sharing?
There you go. Let's see here. It'll show. It
There
shows
we
this.
go. Cool. Yeah.
Do we see a video?
I see your Facebook.
I see my Facebook. Okay. It's not showing the video though?
No.
Okay.
No,
It's all right. You know what?
Yeah, it's not working.
No, it's cool. Well, thank you for
we'll share a link on our website for you.
Yeah.
And then
okay, how do I stop sharing now?
you're not sharing. You're not
sharing anymore. No, we're good to go. Yeah. I already went ahead and closed that box on our end. So yeah, no, you're good. Well, thank you for offering to show us that. Maybe we can send it out on the Pastrami Nation on all the socials and everything like that. I think that'd be really fun. We'd really appreciate that. So Michael, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast for super awesome conversation. And it was a joy having you on. For definitely.
It's a joy being here. Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate I appreciate the reviews. I appreciate you guys bringing me on here, and any plugs you'd like to give it. So much respect and gratitude for that. So thank you for all that.
Absolutely. We'll definitely keep in touch. And when any other product, any other thing you got coming up or anything like that, when it's ready and you're ready to talk about it, please come on the show. We love to talk to you more and really get the word out for all of these great projects. So I'm very, very excited for Vengeance. I got to see what's Vengeance. I'm already excited. So
thank you. It's great to have fans. It really is great to have fans of the show, and people like genuinely telling me I can't wait for the sequel. And I'm getting texts, I'm getting phone calls, I'm getting all this, and so it really gears it up more. I want to go forward. And
well deserved. And congrats on everything, man. Like just you being from an outside looking in, it's incredible that like anything gets made, right? Like, I mean, in all sincerity, like, and you guys all banded together to make this thing, and that's special. That's incredible. That's amazing. So props to you all, and good and congrats. That's really cool. Just real quick before we wrap up here, this isn't related to Red Sands at all, but I really have to shout it out. I wrote a review for Inside Out 2 is on pastramination.com right now. Go check it out. I really loved it. Highly recommend checking it out. For those of you who haven't seen it, if you're into Pixar, you're into animation, go check that out. It's a lot of fun, and it's an emotional train wreck. It tore me to pieces, but that's okay. That's what Pixar does best, and they do it the best out of everybody. So anyways, go check out Inside Out 2. Check out pastramination.com for the latest reviews, movie, TV, comic book reviews, action figure reviews. I know there's Nolan and Jason, I believe Nolan's put up some new action figure stuff and stuff like that. So Christian, where can they find you online? Where Let's do some plugs here.
Christian Nacorda on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Come draw with me. Let's draw.
Yeah. And Michael, do you have a Instagram, Facebook, anywhere where people could come find you, learn about your future projects and what you're working on and all that stuff?
Yeah, on Instagram, I've got somebody controlling the Film Crafters page on Instagram. That's on there. And I've got I'm Michael Barrett 3551. I think on Instagram is what I am. So that's where I'm on Facebook. I'm Michael Barrett on Facebook. I've had friend requests from people that are fans of the show. I'm just like, all right, awesome. Cool. So yeah, I'm all for that. I'm on social media enough.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So go check them out there. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twix, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called now. Pinterest, all that fun stuff. Kevin Hoskinson or Kevin_Hoskinson on all of those. You can also find Pastrami Nation on all those as well. Just type up Pastrami Nation on your favorite social media. We'll be there. Our Pinterest is really big. I don't know. It's been doing great. Jeanette McCurdy fan account only says, can't wait for season 2. She also said, thank you for all this great podcast. Really enjoyed every moment. Thank you for watching. Thank you for checking it out. We had a blast with our guest, Michael Barrett.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And Steven, I'm definitely going to be in contact. So we're gonna get you on the show. Film Crafters is actually on Facebook, not on Instagram yet. Next week it will be.
I was just looking for it, and I was like, I'm not finding it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I'm not running the social media stuff for film crafters. So hey, I'm glad I got somebody taking care of that for me.
Very cool. That's very cool. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you all so much for joining
Very
us. We will see you all next week for a brand new episode of the Pastrami Nation podcast. We will see you guys later. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.